Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to my quiet, lovely, beautiful, peaceful, affordable, comfortable golfing and semi-cloudy retirement community, affectionately known as
Del Boca Vista.
Thank you, Frank. This is the new and reset, independent, self-funded, nonprofit, non-monetized, non-aligned, informative, civilized, semi-entertaining live DOXX Report. DOXX Report encompasses citizen journalism with commentary, opinion only on topics that interest me, or you if you want to bring it up, and can be found exclusively live streaming on YouTube and clips of I guess I've been specializing in Archieverse on X. So it's only on YouTube live streaming, and I put up some clips on X. I'm a student of truth and self-discovery that has improved my daily living and will continue to do so. Email doxreport@outlook.com. Outlook.com, DOXX Report. I thank you for viewing, liking, subscribing, and live commenting. Remember, above all, in these testing of times, keep spiritually centered. I think we had 5 watching. Let me go check. Oh, 4. Oh, who's that on the golf course? They look human. They have human features. These are called the Nordics. Alien, non-human intelligence. They did not come from this planet. Of course, obviously, that's an artist rendition. I forgot how to pronounce it. Renditioning. Okay, let's got to get rid of that group. Oh, what a lovely day. Weather, 85 degrees Fahrenheit. That would be 29 degrees Celsius. Humidity, 60%. Wind, 10 kilometers per hour. That would be 6 miles per hour. And once again, I turn on YouTube, and there's nothing to watch for me. I thought, well, then I'll just do a stream. And I can pop on at any time. So that's the reason it helps. You know, if you subscribe, you'll get some notice. What's today? Today's Wednesday. Had a great week so far. The iPhone Pro, Cosmic Orange, it's in my wallet, but they haven't shipped it yet. So the payment is pending. So I don't know how long that's going to take. I guess they grab the money when they ship it. So, FedEx must have all of these ahead of time. You know that before they go out the door. How could they do that? Interesting thing with the Apple Store, if you pre-ordered the cookies on your phone or whatever, it knows you pre-ordered, so it lets you in first. Because I tried getting in on my other phone, it wouldn't let me in. They have to go through all the pre-orders. So I've done that. And then Tuesday, let's go to the money shot. Lex, show us the money shot. All right, this is the money shot. Gorgeous day. I love when it's cloudy. It softens up all the lighting. And is that a golfer or is that maintenance? It looks like maintenance. They'll get out there at dark. In the morning or early morning, like 5:30. I don't mind. I'm usually up by then. So I got up at, Tuesday. Monday night, I got a text from the cleaning lady. And she said, it's that time. My mother can take me Tuesday. If not, then I have to do it next week. I thought, well, okay, let's do it. And thank God I made the vaccination appointment for Wednesday. I love doing that because all the paperwork, all I have is all done. Because I go online, just tell them what they need. Not allergic to anything. I digitally sign it. They ask for the Social Security. They ask for my Medicare number, which is just my member number on the United Health Group. So I just throw that in there. Address, age, what do you want? I got to get the double flu shot, influenza shot. So as he was prepping it, I says, "You mean you're going to give me the geezer shot?" And he almost laughed, but he was smiling. But he's really good. I didn't think anybody would be as good as the guy that left. He has a beard, and the guy that left, I'm not going to give you his name, but I never felt anything, and it's an intramuscular shot. And so this guy does it. He wipes my arm down. I thought, well, let's do it on the right arm, instead of the other one. I had an appointment at 10:20. I get there at 10 a.m. and I've already filled out everything, so I don't have to show my ID, nothing. He says, go over there and have a chair. I didn't have to show him anything. So I go over there. Now, there's a curtain, and there's a guy in the corner. He's there reading his newspaper. That's his little hiding spot. But he doesn't know that I know. And I says, you just sit here to read the papers, don't you? And he goes, no, I don't have a problem with it. I don't like sitting anyway, but I'll go out over there. I said, you got it made. It's like it's good. It's cool. It's cold. It's like the library. And he had his shoes off, and he was, and I guess the pharmacy doesn't know he's there, or they don't care. And I'm certainly not going to report him. He's not asking for money. So he's not, he seems like I'll bet he's he's obviously a senior, but he probably lives near the place and can just walk over there and just read his paper, which is a good deal. 3 comments already. So let me finish up with the cleaning lady. Oh, she is great. She is fantastic. So I get it. So Tuesday morning, she's due here at 9:30. She texts me at 8:56 a.m. And I go, oh, here we go. What's the emergency this time? Brace yourself. But I love her, and this is who she is. I've accepted it. So I'll still do what I have to do that day. I'm not going to, plan anything. So she says, I'm on my way. I said, okay, thank you. Pulls up with her mom. I look at my Apple Watch. Guess what time it was? 9:30 on the button. I didn't say a word. I'll wait. I told her later inside. And I said, that's only the second time it's happened. It was your dad, and now it's with your mother. So you got to be ready to go. Ooh, look at this guy. So I was all set, showed her a few things, and she's got a new cleaning device. She's got a vacuum / mop head, all in one. It's a vacuum that can also mop. Now, how interesting is that? So that's nothing I would ever buy, but the floors look great. She was there from 9:30, 4.5 hours, till 2 o'clock. And her mom was in the driveway, they picked her up, and they took off. It was great, gave her cash. So I got a nice, clean house. And so Wednesday I got up. The only thing I had to do, I went and got coffee in the morning. And then I got hungry, so I just eat. And you know where I went. Let's see, where did I go? You know exactly where I went.
Wow, wow. Wow, wow.
I was determined to pay for it with my wallet app on the iPhone that I currently have. So I clicked on the card. Oh, maybe I should click on the comments. Maybe you can't hear me. Let's see. Floodland's here. He says hello. You say that every time you're here, Bart. Are you accusing me of this? YouTube's being overwhelmed with AI-generated videos. It's becoming unwatchable. Well, that's on the intro on some of the channels. Big time. And I don't really find that entertaining. This is a live shot, by the way. I mean, you saw the golf carts. Well, I got the literature up here. That's what I asked him. I said, is it antigen or messenger RNA? And he said, this is the antigen. I'm not sure it is, but you know what? Let me look at it. Hang on. I do a printout of my appointment just in case they say, well, we don't show that you were supposed to be here. But that didn't happen. What did I get? I got, let's see. Here's my receipt, but they don't put the, they got to put the product on there. I got the Fluzone, F-L-U-S-O-N-E, high dose. So I guess I'd have to look that up. I would have taken it either one. I prefer the antigen. Let's see, they don't, I guess I could Google it, but you know what, it should be in the paperwork, but it's not. That's like too much you need to know. So let me go look it up. Fluzone, antigen or mRNA? Oh, it says here, now this is Google AI. A messenger RNA flu vaccination is not yet available to the public. So the only option is the antigen-based vaccine like Fluzone HD. So the answer to the question is, it says here, egg-based, high-dose, inactivated vaccine, recommended for adults 65 and older. And there's no way getting around it. I'm 71, so what the hell? Well, not only that, but you look at the thumbnail. Now, okay, am I a little guilty of that? Maybe. But you look at the thumbnail, it has Fox News on it. It has nothing to do with Fox News. They want to just suck you in with the ignorant, the uninformed. And then they start talking about AI, let's see, 3-Eye Atlas. And I go, wait a second, this is just, and then it's somebody, I don't think it's even the content creator, it's they're paying somebody else to read it. And I thought, that's not, I can't use that. I mean, I'm not interested in that. Let's see. Hey, Chili Badge, I'm going to say to Bart, give me an example of what you're talking about, AI generated. Or just put a channel in the comments, you know. And by the way, I had a spammer last time. They only put 2 messages in, but it was okay. They were challenging, like, hey, come and look at this channel. I don't mind that. You know, if you do it once, I mean, once or twice, or just, you don't put like a half a dozen or a dozen comments. But I went back to look at the comments. It was gone. I didn't delete it because I was actually going to check the channel out. So now did Ticker's my moderator take it out? I don't know. I haven't talked to him. But it could be just Google self-policing. I don't know. Floodland, aha. Interesting. Yeah, it's antigen. Old school. Old school for the geezer. Let's see. Well, before we get into that topic, somebody bought a folding blade, folding knife. And I was surprised to learn that it's illegal. Any locking mechanism is illegal in any knife that you can lock open is illegal in the UK. That's strange. So you can only have slip joints, I guess. So you end up cutting your hand if you had to ever use it. So you'd have to go with fixed blade. Get a short fixed blade, right? Anyway, I digress. So what did I get? Let me see. I got to get the details of this. Document keeper, gear, knives, online. Let's see. It's a Benchmade. That's a clue. Here you go. Oh, it's a Benchmade 940 CPM M4 reverse Tonto. Blade length 3.4 inches. Overall length 7.87 inches. The blade grind is flat. The finish is black. I think it's Cerakoted. Handle length is 4.47 inches. Handle material is a jade color. I think they call it natural G10. And it's a liner. There's a frame in, well, let's see. There's a liner inside the G10, which is steel. Now here's one of my criteria, the weight, 2.65 ounces, very lightweight. And I kind of shot him a lowball offer of like $150 for the knife, and then for his sharpening, it would be $175. I thought, for some reason, I got it in my head it was a mini. It's not a mini, a 945. But he had it misprinted as a 910, so I didn't even think it was the full size. And then I realized, wait a second, this is a full size. So he said he would do it for another $20. So I total out the door with a professional edge on it, looked beautiful, $195. And this is like a $230, $40 knife. And if you add the sharpening to it, that's another $25. And that's at a discount. It's right-hand carry, but again, 2.65 ounces, tip up in the pocket, manual, and that lock there, the ball bearing lock, you can open this and close it quicker than you can a automatic knife. You just fling it open, fling it shut by pulling that ball back, that thing right there. Oh, the thumb stud, crossbar lock, Benchmade 940 Osborne. Model number 940BK-2004, made in the USA. Mark T, give us the news business. I'll give it to you. The news business, they also have commentary and opinion. And I was let's get rid of that knife. I was very upset. Well, I don't know what the right word was. Yeah, almost sick about this kid. Tyler Robinson. Where's your mugshot, Tyler? There he is. Jesus. And I was watching the indictment, or he's had his first day in court, a hearing. So he had his first hearing in court, and they called him indigent. Well, his parents have a $600,000 house, but he's 22. So an attorney will be provided to him if he so agrees to it. And I'm thinking, I guess when I was that age, I was indigent too. I was working. I had a basement apartment with a roommate. We're splitting the rent. He worked at the hospital, but I knew him from high school. And we had some things in common, like he went on a mission and thought, the hell with this, and he came home early. So, and I never went on a mission. So, but we had Mormon background, different interests, but still, you're saving rent. But see how that roommate, my first roommate, was, like attracts like. So we had similar background. We liked to hike, and we played tennis, or we'd. I liked basketball, I think, more than he did. But he left the church. I left the church. So this guy's roommate, we now know, is in the process of transgendering, which is neither here nor there. But my point, it'll lead up to why the motive I've given to him. Now everybody's got an opinion. Everybody can give a motive if they want, and I have my own. Comment. Floodland, he'll be appointed a public pretender. Well, they got the roommate testifying against him. Now, this is what one of the guy was up there, sits at Wawa, reads the paper every morning, which surprises me. Because who's writing the paper? Who's selecting the news articles? It's the Democrats. They're all in media. Anyway, he said that the dad didn't turn him in, but they went to see the Mormon leadership, which is a lay ministry, so I'm sure it was the bishop. The bishop called the cops. Rightly so. It's because it would have been, if they wouldn't have found him immediately, he was going to take his life. Because my my theory is his non-binary friend. Well, no, he was transitioning, so I don't know what you'd call that. He was in transitioning. He's a strange-looking individual. But see, that's what attracted. All right, so here, let me get to my, before I get lost in the comments. The only thing that makes sense to me, because when he assassinated, when he murdered Charlie Kirk, he was attacking family, right? He shot a father and a husband, 2 kids, had a wife. He didn't want any of that, and he didn't want anybody preaching. He didn't want, and then his roommate is also rebelling. Doesn't want to be a male, wants to be a female. So there's a lot of, and I kind of examining my life back when I was 20, when I first moved out. And you're just on your own. And I was plenty scared, I'll admit it. But I didn't know it at the time. I wasn't aware of it. So I would hit the gym every other day, play, basketball, lift weights, and that relaxed me. But it is scary out on your own because you're kicked out of the house. I mean, you have to go make it. So you go from in his case, a $600,000 home, you got a car, and now you're indigent. So you're just pushed out in a way. Now, girls have more options when they're younger, and if they're attractive, they have options. They get married, or they can go to school and come home, but they're more protected. And guys just aren't. That's the way it is. You're out. So what I think he did, he rejected all of that. He rejected Mormonism. He rejected family. He rejected goodness. He was not radicalized. And that's a stupid term anyway. I mean, when I left home, I was radicalized. I wanted to be on my own. And that's a radical in the sense that it's not the norm for Mormon youth to do at 20. You go on a mission. I'm not going on a mission. And I'm not getting married. I was radicalized. I want to take care of myself. So that's wrong. He became murderous, in which I think it was really suicide. He was really committing suicide. He was just ending it. I don't want any part of this, but why take a life? That's because he knew now there's no going back. He's either going to do himself in, or he's going to, now my neighbor and other people say he's going to get the death penalty. They charged him. A death penalty is an option. They're going for it, but I don't think it's going to. I don't think it will happen. He'll do a plea. I mean, look at that guy in Idaho who knifed those 4 kids. Now, if he can do a plea deal, anybody can do a plea deal. You disagree with that? He's not that smart. He really isn't. His mom recognized him, for goodness sakes. Now, maybe she would have never turned him in. I actually think he thought he was smart enough to get away. I don't think so. Subconsciously, well, maybe the shrink will get a hold of him in the prison. I think in his mind, instead of just walking away from, I don't believe in evangelicalism or whatever they preach. It doesn't mean I'm going to go harm someone. I just don't listen. He could have done his own thing. But I think he had so much pressure from home. And now they say he did not serve a mission. Well, see, that's tricky. I'm not asking if he served a mission. Did he ever attempt to go on a mission? Did he go to missionary school? Was he in the missionary field for a week or 2 and then came back? Because that's his MO. He'll start something and then not finish it. Just like he went to a full scholarship, Utah State University, and then just, no, not for me. Comes back to southern Utah, to Washington County, goes to some technical school, and he decides to, no, not for me. But what is he doing? He's playing these video games, which are all what? For the males, shooters. Just killing everything in sight. So I think he just turned murderous. Forget the radicalization. He became murderous, all right? That's a better description. Now, if you want radicalization, I can give you radicalization. You don't have to shoot anybody to be radical. You want some radicalization? I'll give it to you.
Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
This is what kicking the shit out of fascism looks like.
Try to prevent
the spread of the lawlessness and the fascist chaos that's been unleashed against us.
So when we say Donald Trump is a fascist, fascism, a huge component of fascism is uniting racism, bigotry, a form of racist nationalism.
We are now living in a fascist dictatorship.
We are worried about potential rise of fascism in this country. We're worried about our democracy falling to an authoritarian and potentially fascist form of government.
not only to roll over to Donald Trump's will, but to roll over our democracy and allow him to take over this country as a fascist dictator.
When fascism isn't just coming, it's already here.
The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, said, "No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core."
Yeah, he received the popular vote, electoral college victory. That's what we wanted. We wanted law and order. We wanted a sealed border. Did you see Cortez? She looked at her notes. She couldn't finish what she had to say. She was doing the bulletin points. They're all, now you talk about a cult. That is definitely the Democratic Party is a cult. The extreme leftists, that is a cult. She had to look down to get that last point in. So there's your radicalization. But this guy became murderous. He was against marriage. He was against a lot of things, and I think it was a form of suicide because he knows now that nothing can save him. He's got. Yeah, if I was it, I would rather be shot. I think they have lethal injection now in Utah, or do they? I know they have firing squad. What do they got in Utah? Lethal. Okay, Utah's law states that lethal injection is the primary method of execution, but a firing squad is used if the state cannot lawfully obtain the necessary substances for lethal injection. God, okay. But having a choice between that and life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, I mean, he could get parole at 25 years. I'd almost rather be dead, but that's me. So I think it was a form of suicide. He didn't have to. If you don't like marriage, don't get married. If you don't like Mormonism, don't be a Mormon. If you don't like evangelicals, don't go listen to him. So this was something else going on. I think. That's my 2 cents. The text shows it, that he thought he was going to get away with it. Then he is a dummy. With all the cameras. And that guy up at Wawa again, he thinks it's coordinated. It's a conspiracy. There was somebody else involved. Like the guy that asked him the question just before he got shot is somehow involved. And I'm thinking, you're taking away the ability of the individual. An individual can do great harm or great good. It doesn't have to be a conspiracy. Now, Floodland agree he was over-mothered. Boy, I tell you what, I think that there's a real story there, a journalist, just go interview the family. Because before I knew he had that whacked-out roommate, I knew there was a deep, dark secret of something. Because this is just, there had to have been a signal along the way somewhere. Hey, son, who's your roommate? Oh, he's a transgender. Ding, 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 ding. I can't believe he hasn't had any episodes as a younger guy. He was over-mothered. When he reads the scholarship letter, he sounds like a zombie, and his mom acts like she got the scholarship. Oh, that's bad. Yeah, living through the sun, if that's what's going on. But at the hearing, he was just staring like he is right now. In fact, I thought it was a still shot. He didn't change expression. And he's got that vest on, I guess, in case somebody shoots him, or I don't know what they do that for. So I'm just kind of done following it unless they have, because this is just great material for all the headlines, and we found this out, we found breaking this and all that. So, but anyway, unless you want to discuss it. But I tried to put myself back in my frame of mind. But thank God there were no videos back then. Not you know, Instagram and YouTube. But it is tough. You're out on your own and you have to make it now. And I had no clue. I didn't think I had any skills whatsoever. And what am I going to do? You know, so it's a rough on everybody, I think, that time in your life. Oh, really? That vest is an anti-suicide robe. Wow. Oh, how does that work? You mean he can't stab himself? They're not going to give him anything sharp, but he here he's not cooperating. But it's just terrible. So now I have to get it out of my mind until I see something on it. Okay, now let's see. These are today's subjects, but not limited to. I've got a great photo of Brazil, a UAP. Not a photo, but a for chili badger. And here it is, Brazil. This is pretty recent. In the streets of Brazil. Another balloon chili badger, a busy intersection of Brazil. Oh, GD's here. Greetings, Lex. Well, greetings, GD. Nice to have you aboard. You getting enough of Eddie and TW and who else have they got over there? Eddie, Uzi, Eddie and Uzi. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, let me see. Do I have anything on my X account? I don't have to show it to you, but they got a clip here. The latest one, excuses, gibberish. There's Archie. Now, at the end of the clip, he blames Morty on that because Morty suggested that he was disappointed that he didn't have a better hotel on one of his previous, I don't know how many years ago, episodes. So what is he doing here? He's in Macau in a very expensive room for 2 nights. Morty didn't make you do that, 9-year-old. And so this one kind of pissed me off because he was telling there was an attorney there from Australia who collect pens, writing instruments, and he was saying, well, Arch, you've basically had a business for 10 years on YouTube. No. It's not a business. I think he was a real estate attorney. So I had to put a comment in. Your 10 years at YouTube is not your business. You were an employee. YouTube owns everything on their platform. You chose women to marry that could earn you a living. You chose to work for Google, YouTube. You chose not to work a real job or career, live below your means, or save money for the future. So you're in a spot right where all your decisions put you, little 9-year-old. And here he is. I got another one, September 15th. 9-year-old sits alone, Macau, China, hotel room, contemplating his survival plan. Sell everything. Sell everything so he can run. The narcissist runs out of prey, ideas, vigor, and options. Who saved him the last time? Daddy. But Daddy doesn't have many years left. And, of course, this was kind of funny. Tanzil, of course, Tanzil, the puppet master, said, who do you have a beef with, beef or no beef? So he went over Curly Watch Nicholas, TGV Plastique, Jock, Palway, Tim, DOXX, Narc, that's DOXX Report, not DOC, but DOXX, Narc, Higgins, Jake, Marcelo, JB, Eddie, Easy. Of course, he's got a beef with everybody. And some other stuff from him. And I got one on Morty, but I don't think I'll discuss that one. Unless you want me to. Well, check it out. Check out YouTube. Check out, X. Pavel was no watch Nicholas overmothered, leading to him seeking approval in a gloomy uncle. No, watch. I was looking around. I was going to get I was going to try to get lyrics to like Trust Fund Babies. There's a song out there called Trust Fund Babies. Timmy's one. I guess Watch Nicholas's one. He's admitted to that. So, be careful what you wish for. If you wish to be born into money, be careful, because that's a way to manipulate you. And I don't know if he's overmothered. He could have been emotionally abandoned easily. It doesn't matter. You think people earn a big income and they're smart. It doesn't mean they're loving, caring parents. It doesn't mean that at all. You don't know what his home life was like. Here it is, Chili Badger. I told you. No, it could be a disguised drone. Really, with no blades. Really? How does that work? And no ports. Let's look at it again carefully, just for Chili Badger. Busy intersection, Brazil, broad daylight. They get to do about anything they want to do. GD reminds me, that's Caesar you're talking about. Hell, Caesar. We want you too. Okay, what else we got in the comments? What did I tell you about? Okay, Brazil UAP, Senator Howard Cannon. Now, he's passed away. He was before Senator Harry Reid of Nevada. He was a senator from Nevada, so remember that name, Howard Cannon. And more importantly, remember this name, because I got some great audio from Mr. Knapp. George Knapp, an outstanding independent, he's a KSLA Las Vegas investigative journalist who's been carrying this story for years. Alfred Al O'Donnell. And there's George Knapp, investigative journalist. And, of course, we started off with the Mormon sniper. Very disturbing. We want you to. Updates on Morty? Well, okay. I did tease it, didn't I? Well, if you go over on my X report, he did a, I didn't listen to it, but he did a, what do you call it? Gonzo streaming. He went on location and he gonzo streamed. Now, on his comeback, he made, for that show, for that week, for that day, for that show, he made $70. So which would be what? 70% of that is what? I think I did the math, $49. When he did the gonzo streaming, I had to take a peek the following day. What did he make on that? Any guesses? What do you think he made on that? $10. Well, what's 70% of $10? $7. So GD said he was holding back. No, I think I don't know what he's doing. He could be reevaluating, but he's given promos on his channel. He's going to do clips now. I don't know if that's he's just teasing or what. He says he's going to have clips and conversation. So you might as well enjoy what you're doing because you're not making the money, right? So But he came back, and but that's, if you're in it for now. Watch Nicholas, he's like Archie. He says, "I'm here for the money. Period. I'm here for the money. Whatever it takes to get the money." So here's a trust fund kid living in a beautiful home, which I don't think he pays for, or the utilities or the property tax. So he needs. Why does he need the money? Apparently he does. Okay, well, critique it. What do you mean it was a flop? The audio was bad at the beginning, but that's all I was just glancing through it. It was just, wandering the streets, but I'm not calling it a flop. GD, Morty's Last Gonzo was a bit of a flop. You got to give more detail on that. Floodland, Marcelo made more in his day. Chili Badger, back to Brazil. Hard to tell, that one. Difficult to work out distances, but it could be a real flying hoax. Naughty drone people. I didn't see any blades. Pavel, doing profitable gonzo is very difficult. Arguably, only Timmy has reliably pulled it off in this space. Yeah, I mean, Timmy's come up with the business model, hasn't he? We know what that business model is.
We like to call it here, keeping the grift alive and help fuel the grift jar.
But it doesn't show on Playboard that much. He must get direct money coming in. Hasn't he? He's talked about going to work, though. And if it is a money issue, there's only one thing I can say is seek employment. Anybody, at any age, if it's a money issue, seek employment. Somehow, some way. Use that intelligence or that adaptability that you do on YouTube and try to get somebody to employ you. Well, this is rough criticism here. GD, Morty was at his best in Vegas, baby. All subsequent gonzos have flopped. Well, even a flop can be funny. Did you find any humor in it? Rufus, keep in mind, DOXX, GD is here, just here for the red meat. He's an animal. He is an animal. No kidding. Floodland 99. Mike the Snake made $1,000 pre-track day gonzo. Yeah, but look at the price he paid. He had a breakdown. He had to get out. Chili Badger, how many viewers does AC3 still keep in the camp? Sorry, not snooped in on the walrus for nearly a year. Well, he doesn't care about the viewers. He cares about the money. And the money has always been going down, one direction, down, down, down. GD says, that's right, Rufus. Not here for the low-effort friendships, grifting, flexing, or clout chasing. I'm here for the entertainment. Well, this is a public service channel. I'm here to cover topics that I want to cover and a platform that I cannot be interrupted. I'm not part of a panel. Nobody can talk over me. So I quite like it. So let's get into, let's see, who we got next. We got to do the UAP stuff. And Rufus confesses, I'm not far behind you, GD. Pavel, he's down to 75 to 90 with the Buttman Boarfest. You mean Bateman? It's unwatchable. It just is. Unless I find a clip. Unless he reveals something. See, now, from what I know of Archie and his condition, the watches are very important to him, more so than any of us. If we were on hard times, we had to sell a beloved whatever, You know, you say, well, I'll buy something back later on, but not him. This is who he is. So it could be disastrous for him. I don't know. That's the other thing. Bateman and DOXX Report got going at each other, and Lux said, hey, we're both employees here. I guess he's getting paid. I don't know how much. His show, who, Timmy? Whose show? His show is just as bad as Archie's. See, it kind of helps to talk in full sentences because I gotta look at everything, and I got my mind going to other places. Chili thanks Pavel. Thanks, that's a lot of lost souls who are in the cult of the living dead. Oh, I don't follow it. Grand Master Chime. When Mike the Snake track day gonna happen? On what channel is he gonna put it on? He's not going back to watch Nicholas that I know of. And unless he told he's taking a break from his leader, the 9-year-old. GDS, is this Miami Manny? Oh, the succulents are in the shade. That's terrible. No, that's a little harsh. Got to stay in the cage. Well, I already showed that. Let me see if I saved it. Did I save it? Let's go back to my YouTube folder. And let's see, did I save it? I don't know if I saved it. Well, I have it. If you're asking that, all you have to go is back to one of my shows. I'll tell you the title. I got it in the comments. You got to go to YouTube. Hang on. What the hell? Close that. Close that. Open that. Go to YouTube. View your channel. Galaxy Grill. Oh, no, that's an old one. Hang on. No, I don't want to do that. Click on live. There's today, late night grill. It says Galaxy Grill, and you go to the comments. Playboard. Here it is. All right. You know what? Let's just stream it. I'll stream it right now. Present, show, share screen. Share screen. Late night grill. Throw it up there. There it is. Late night. Let's play it. Impressive, but, you know. So if you want, oh, we got 12 people back. I guess I can do I'm not going to do the dance. I can give you the numbers. We can go through the numbers. But I apologize. I didn't stream Saturday. I watched Tennessee and Georgia. Oh, that was a heartbreaker, man. Tennessee had them. Then Georgia came back, whooped them again. It was terrible for the Tennessee fan. They were just the stadium was packed, all orange. Peyton Manning, you know, and it just didn't happen. Well, don't go to bed. Don't go to bed yet, GD. I'm going to give you the numbers. GD. Rue, it's a little early for a drink. No, this is yesterday, Saturday. Okay, before you go to bed, GD, let me give you the numbers. Okay, I'm going to give you the Playboy numbers. Here we go. First, I got to give you a disclaimer.
Remember, you wanted this.
Number one, here he is. Watch Nicholas and his empire of talent that he has over there. This was taken yesterday, September 13th, Saturday, for the week. On Saturday, $126 yesterday, which would have been Friday, $258. The last 7 days, $1,644 for the Wonder Boy watch. Nicholas living in I think his parents bought it for him, or they're paying for it. And you're giving this guy money, and he's going to get a mega inheritance, and you're giving him money. Imagine that. All right, there's watch Nicholas. Now, number 2, the 9-year-old himself, the Beast of Brisbane, leader of the cult of the living dead. Today's revenue, which would be Saturday, $132. Friday's revenue, $73. Last 7 days, $839 for a week's work for the 9-year-old, the Beast. Who's left? Timmy, Tin Cup Panhandling, trust-funded Marxist Airport Lounge, Scrounger, and friends. August 15th through September 13th, which is a Saturday. Today's the 14th, so this was taken yesterday. Saturday's revenue, $0. Friday revenue, $15. Last 7 days, he must get direct. He's having these guys send him money directly. So the only people that has the data on him is IRS. Last 7 days, $489. Okay, now that's the DOXX Report. I got you something extra. I've got you a bonus now. This is the easier for me to do. I have a calculator now. I'm going to give you the 30-day net, just because you hung in there. 30-day super chat. YouTuber watched Nicholas in his empire. He grossed, now he took home 30-day, $4,000. There it is. You want the 30-day? Watch Nicholas for 4,560. The 9-year-old, 4,539. But that's in a month. He can't live on that. And Timmy Tin Cup, 3,098. So there you go. Ask and ye shall receive. Get rid of that. Uh-oh. Come back. So I just gave it to you, Manny Rodriguez. They have very high expenses, though. Timmy has high expenses. Archie's just, he doesn't know how to manage money. He's a 9-year-old. Mike the Snake, canceled track day since he was bullied until his life was destroyed, then mocked for a whole week after he diva quit. I think it's better for him. Get away. Well, that's very true. Rufus, the 9-year-old smeller of his own man Musk, watch kisser, friend to no one, friendly to none, the pontiff, the powder puff pontiff. Can you imagine? He was the companion pet of the leader for 5 years. Michael Snake enters a long self-exile after a wet noodle life ruining. GD makes a face. Grandmaster Chime clarifies GDO. Dang, I'm not far from Simona Raceway, and I was thinking of spectating. Yeah, well, take your iPhone with you. You got to record that. When he does do it, or if you find him doing it, and you know who to send it to, DOXX Report at outlook.com. GD, you've been there, done that, Lex. It's 2:35 p.m. Nikki needs some spending money. Well, doesn't he get an allowance? I'm sure they gave him an allowance. They pay for everything else, his parents, right? He's not working. There's no way he can make payments. He can't pay property taxes. He can't pay utilities. So he needs spending money for what? Booze and pot? And you're going to do it for him? He needs the pocket change. Let him seek employment. Chili Badger Mike, the companion pet, the official companion pet of the Beast of Brisbane, was better off with cult friction back in his Hawaiian days. He lived under a bridge for 10 years. Isn't that the claim? You can't, how do you do that? These month-long philandering expeditions seem negative for the rake. Rufus, I wouldn't call a peso cannon spending money. I agree with pocket change, though. Poverty line rakes. Pavel, poverty line rakes. Rufus, peso shamer. No. I'm not a guru. No. I don't run a cult. Don't start that. GD, I'm a member of the cult of Del Boca Vista. Rufus, super chatting real money equals your money wasted. This is a public service channel. I enjoy doing it and try to enlighten others and prepare themselves. The aliens are here. The ships are real. What they want, are they going to come out and show themselves? I don't know. Well, when will the government confirm this, Lex? When they have to. And right now they don't have to. Mark T says they're all overpaid. Rufus agrees with GD. Pavel, he has a $4,500 weed budget. GD, yes, that's exactly right, Lex. Booze and weed money. Well, if his parents knows he's working and earning money, they should cut his allowance. Oh, is that his claim? And this is YouTube. He has none of that, right? Mark T, 5493. I like that Tim G has numerous companies, girlfriends, 4 mansions, and a $6 million and he has time to stream for Timmy for hours. Who knows? There's some highly successful people that come on some of these things, and most of them are older guys and they have family. But when they're showing like that guy, that Australian attorney with his pen collection, the family doesn't give a rat's ass about his pen collection. Only Archie does. So where's he going to show his pens off? He doesn't want to do a channel on his own. The Morty Booze and Weed Fund is over. When he thinks about that, he just must lower his head and just shake his head like, why did I do that? I never heard him talk bad about him, though. Now watch Nicholas said some very nasty things back to Morty. But I never heard Morty, let's see, GD, Morty disowned Nick. Well, he just went away. I don't think he said anything about it. And if you ask him, I don't think he's going to talk about it. Watch Nicholas will betray anyone for money. It's not even a betrayal. It's like he has, now I'm not calling him a narcissist, but he doesn't care about everybody else. It's just him. He doesn't care who goes on the channel as long as he can get money. If Morty can help bring in the money, then he'll have Morty on. He'll take Morty back in a second. He'll take anybody back. He's like, in a way, he's like the pontiff like that. He'll take anybody back if making money. Any controversy, any trumped up drama. Watch Nicholas betrayed Morty for what? To get clowned by creepy clown uncle, a marketing genius. Let's see, he did. There was a private phone call between Morty and Watch Nicholas. Are you saying that? And he said, I disown you? He didn't even have to do that, really. I'm glad he didn't email it, or Watch Nicholas probably would have read it. True, Rufus. Watch Nicholas' moral compass point to wherever the money comes from. All right, got 1 hour in. I got a little off track. I got to get back to my UAP news. Okay. I'm going to read you. I have not all of it. I'm going to kind of skim through it. I have, for the record, the Committee on Oversight and Accountability hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomenon, that would be UAP, September 9th, 2025. Just happened. This is George Knapp, and let's go how he signed this. He is George Knapp, KNAPP, Chief Investigative Reporter, KLAS-TV, Las Vegas, Nevada. And he got to testify. Well, he dropped some names and some pretty interesting information. So this is 6 pages. If you want it, I'll send it to you. It's a PDF. I've highlighted some things. Now, he's been covering this for a year. He started with Lazar. He was very concerned about putting it on the air because he needed, people to support that. But he said the paper trail, that's his big thing. There was a paper trail with the Freedom of Information Act. And in essence, the public, I'm reading from this, the public has been told over and over since the late 40s that there's nothing to worry about, that these things aren't real. They're not a threat. The witnesses are crackpots. But the Freedom of Information Act forced the Air Force, CIA, FBI, NASA, and other agencies to release thousands of pages of internal memos and reports and candid assessments written in complete candor, long before anyone knew the Freedom of Information Act would exist in the future. It was clear that what they told each other behind closed doors was the opposite of what they told the public, you and me. They lied and are still lying to the public and to Congress. The documents show them that military and intelligence personnel admitted that, quote, these are real, not fictitious, that they fly in formation, are evasive, and outperform any aircraft known to exist, including ours. Okay, that was now in the early days, there was crash retrievals, reverse engineering programs. They're real. It was Bob Lazar, and there's Area 51, and then there's S4, which is out near Area 51. But now he appealed. After he was talking to Bob Lazar, he needed more witnesses or more to corroborate, or whatever the word is, the Bob Lazar. Quote, I appealed on the air and asked people who had knowledge of this to contact me, and over time they did. I had, let's see, let me get his picture up there, hang on. Bob Knapp, let's see. Well, I think I didn't grab it because you know who he is. You've seen him before. If you haven't, let me know. I can get you a picture. Let's see. Okay, I appealed on air and asked people who had knowledge of this to contact me, and over time they did. I had more than 24 sources with bits and pieces of the same story who spoke to us. The most alarming development in that process is that I spoke to 6 people, 6 in a row, on my phone in the newsroom. It was tapped. He didn't know, but it was tapped. Who agreed to tell me their stories, some of them under the condition that we disguise their identities. And 6 people right in a row were visited the very next day after speaking to me by government agents, security from former employers, men in black types, who essentially threatened them and told them to keep their mouths shut. One of the people who agreed to speak to me had worked for a prominent defense contractor. She told me about sitting in a meeting with Air Force officers in which they discussed crashed UFOs. The people who came to her after she spoke to me told her she was still subject to her non-disclosure agreement, adding that they knew her daughter lived in LA, that both she and her daughter would drive to see each other on occasion. And then the 2 men in suits ended with this saying, it's a big desert out there. It would sure be a shame if anything happened to either of you. She was terrified. I'd be terrified. The idea that someone would issue threats to family, jarring and outrageous. Also outrageous was the realization that someone had been listening to the phone in my office. Now, he also had a very interesting relationship with Harry Reid, Senator Harry Reid. The first person I told outside of our newsroom about the story we were pursuing was Nevada Harry Reid. Harry Reid was interested. Now, there was another name. Now, this is Howard Cannon, C-A-N-N-O-N. Senator Cannon, a predecessor to Reid, was a bomber pilot and hero. Oh, I can show you him. I got his photo. Mr. Cannon, where are you? There he is. get rid of Rufus there. He was a staunch defender of defense spending, Senator Howard Cannon. He was a staunch defender of defense spending, Nellis Air Force Base and Area 51, and who had a personal relationship with the top guys at Lockheed Martin. Cannon had never spoke publicly about UFOs, but his son, Alan, confided in me, George Knapp, that his father had told him, the son, the story about Roswell and crash debris was true. Now remember, George Knapp is not running a YouTube channel. He's a journalist. If he gets caught making things up, that destroys him, his legacy, and everything he's ever reported on. So he's very careful about this. And of course, Senator Cannon knew Barry Goldwater. Let's see, he told me that his best friend in the Senate, Republican Barry Goldwater, best friend of Senator Cannon, had spoken to Cannon several times about what was being hidden at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, California, I believe. Goldwater suspected it was a UFO crash material. So he asked permission to get in to see it, and even though he was a ranking member of Armed Services Intelligence Committees, the response wasn't merely no, but hell no, and never ask me again. George Knapp, let's see, quote, I corresponded with Senator Goldwater in the early 90s, and he confirmed the story to me. All right, now we're going to get to another very big player. Thank you, Mr. Cannon, Senator Cannon. Alfred O'Donnell. He's called Al. And I think this is him before he died. Okay, but this is him when he was a very big player. Al O'Donnell. Let's see. Mr. O'Donnell is considered one of the 100 most important people in the development of modern Las Vegas. He had been at MIT when the three founders of EG&G engineered their amazing technology and became vital to the U.S. nuclear weapons program. O'Donnell was sent to Las Vegas to be the first general manager of the EG&G operation there. It meant he had the highest clearances for the most important national security program in the world. He accumulated years of direct, hands-on experience with atomic weapons, hundreds of which were exploded in the Nevada desert and elsewhere. He was the real deal. Now, I'm going to stop reading this for a moment, and I'm going to play you George Knapp. He was on a podcast, for the record, so he said this publicly on a podcast, and this is the gentleman he's talking about, O'Donnell. Take it away. Take it away, George Knapp.
So after we're having these meetings, and I go back and write down all these notes and stuff, details about what he had shared with me, we have another meeting at a coffee shop, and I said, well, gosh, aren't you worried that it would get out, that the word would get out? And he says to me, we were worried it would get out. That's right. I mean, what do you mean, it? It, meaning a live being. They had a live being out there. I go, what? You had a live being? An alien? So, well, tell you the truth, we didn't know what it was. I said, maybe it came from millions of miles away out in space, and you're keeping it in a cage near Area 51. He said, to tell you the truth, we couldn't communicate with it in the beginning. We didn't know what it was. We didn't know where it was from. And we didn't know what to do with it.
Wow. Can you imagine being George Knapp? I mean, he must go home, lay in bed and go, I can't, could you sleep? Can you imagine that? There's only a handful of people know that. He was one of them. He continued talking about Al O'Donnell.
Well, I was overwhelmed because it was, in effect, confirmation of things that I had come to believe because of the reporting we'd already done, and then the evidence of cover-ups and lies that had been told to the public. Here's this guy in a high position with a high security clearance telling me that it was true, that they really did have a craft and they had a being. My second feeling was one of overwhelming sadness for the being, whatever it was, that was kept out there. I asked him, what had happened to it, what became of it. He says, I don't know. I don't know whatever happened to it, but it was out there for a while, alive, And eventually they figured out a way to communicate with it. And so I asked him, well, what did it look like? And he made me guess, as he did with all these questions. He made me guess. He said, well, kind of looks like a certain political candidate. I said, well, who? What? A political candidate? Who? And at the time, Ross Perot was running for president. He said, it looks like Ross Perot, a little skinny guy with big ears and a tiny head. Not a classic gray-looking alien, but a very odd-looking creature with really big ears that looked like Ross Perot. And I laughed. And so we had these conversations for a while. And I was blown away by the information they shared. I took all these notes. I was hoping that someday I might be able to get the information out. And I asked him, look, you're getting up there in age. Can you, if I can't record something with you, could you record a statement to the effect of, tell me this story on camera, and then when you pass on, I could have the tape? And he said, yeah, he would do it.
Now, if any YouTuber said it looked like Ross Perot, I wouldn't have put it up there. But this is George Knapp. And how do you feel sorry if the being is a biologic? It was bred to fly those things. So I don't know if they even feel. I mean, you feel for it, but it may not feel anything. And so let's get another photo of him as he aged. Okay, now he's an older man. He's near death. Final clip, George Knapp.
Yeah, he was very straightforward. And again, this was not information he was giving up willingly. I mean, I had to really dig and coax and arm twist to get him to cough things up. And it was very slow going over about a 2-year period, maybe a little bit longer. And I know that you always have to be wary of people with different agendas and people that just make stuff up. I didn't get that sense from him because of his standing in the community. He had shared this story with members of his own family.
Okay, and he was going to leave some kind of testimony with George Knapp, but, you know, the men in black, the feds, or whoever they are, got a hold of him. And he came up with a really bizarre story, just to throw everybody off of this. So I'm not even going to play that stuff. And back to the document. And again, that was Alfred O'Donnell. Hold on. Let's move him back to the live shot. I know, we got comments. I'll get back to him. And now, that's him talking to a podcaster, but this is his opening, what do they call this thing? Opening statement for the record on the Committee on Oversight and Accountability. So this is permanent part of the record. And so he goes, let's see, O'Donnell told me he was directly involved in securing what amounted to a flying saucer that had crashed, most likely in 1953. He said it wasn't kept at Area 51. It was hidden at Indian Springs Air Base outside of Las Vegas, now known as Creech, C-R-E-E-C-H Air Force Base. Eventually, he also said there was a live being housed out there, a crash survivor, but they did not know how to communicate with their captive. Its existence was known by only a handful of people. He said sometime after 1955, when Area 51 was created, the craft and the being were moved from Indian Spring to somewhere near Groom Lake, but he was never specific. Now, sometime later at our final coffee meeting, he told me he had been warned to stop talking to me. So that's when he turned, because he's got family. He doesn't want to jeopardize his family, so then he had to do a cover story. He did let me quote from the George Knapp here. He told me he could not meet with me anymore. A few years later, a new version of his story emerged, one different in every respect. So he basically made up something, but he had to do it. And he briefly mentions the other story, but I'm not going to say it here. Here's another name for you, James. A more current source regarding unknown technology is Dr. James Lakatsky. Can I get that in the comments? Let's see. I know, I'll get to the comments. Don't worry. You're just talking to each other, so it's not a big deal. There's the name. Dr. Lekatsky is a brilliant man who spent the bulk of his career working for the Defense Intelligence Agency. He and a colleague came up with the idea for the Advanced Aerospace Weapons Application Programs. That would be the ASAP and then blah, blah, blah. So that's another name. If you want to look, some of this you should research on your own, really. What else did I pick up here? In 2023, the usually tight-lipped Dr. Lekatsky dropped a bombshell. He revealed that he had been in high-level talks with the Department of Homeland Security to create a new program dubbed Kona Blue, with a K, K-O-N-A, Kona Blue. During the discussions with the U.S. Senator and an Undersecretary of Department of Homeland Security, Lekatsky revealed that the U.S. is in possession of a craft of unknown origin and had successfully gained access to its interior. The craft was a streamlined configuration suitable for aerodynamic flight, but no intakes, no exhaust, no wings, and no control surfaces. It kind of looks like the one hovering in Brazil. In fact, it appeared not to have an engine, fuel tanks, or fuel. What was the purpose of this craft? Lekatsky flat out stated to a senior government official and a sitting senator that our government does have at least one UFO, though he did not say where it is or how it was acquired, and in multiple conversations since 2023, he has declined to say anything more. He shut his mouth. And I've mentioned Robert Bigelow. You know, that one, again, if you're interested, you should look that up. Bigelow's company, let's see, he did a bill. He had an aerospace company. He did a deal with Lockheed. They hammered out a deal that he would receive a quantity of unusual material that Lockheed was safeguarding at a facility in California. The material was not made here. It contained, the material was not made here. It contained no unknown element, no unobtainium, but its composition suggested it had been crafted in a zero-gravity environment, in other words, space. As far as anyone knows, we do not have any manufacturing plants in space, nor does anyone else. The agreement was not completed. There are two reasons for that. People can believe it or not, there is a crash recovery program, and reverse engineering has been underway for a long time with limited success. A veteran intelligence operative, David Charles Grush, who documented the existence of such programs while working with the UAP task force, testified back in Congress 2023 about this. The testimony was under oath. Mr. Grush now works for Representative Burleson as an advisor on these matters. So interesting read, PDF. That's some of the highlights. And then he talks about the Russians. Now, the scariest thing, a UFO had appeared over the Ukraine missile base. It was observed for 4 hours. In that time, the UFO split into pieces, merged back together, displayed amazing velocity and other abilities. And then unexpectedly, something or someone entered the correct launch codes for the missiles. In General Sokolov's words, it was a spontaneous illumination of all displays. Those missiles fired up and appeared ready to be launched. The officers at the controls would not shut them down. They tried their best to disengage, but could not. This was World War III, about ready to start, and there was nothing the Russians could do to stop it. They couldn't stop it. And then poof, the UFOs vanished in an instant, and when they did, the missiles turned themselves off. Scary, huh? And that is George Knapp, chief investigative reporter of KLAS-TV. 18 people. Very good. So I think that concludes that. That's about all I had to read. What else have I got? What else can I show you? Okay, I can do that in a minute. Hang on. Let's go to the comments. I'm way behind in the comments. Way behind in the comments. Ross Perot. Yeah, now that if it was anybody but George Knapp, I wouldn't have played it. There's my marker. Not sure what that means, Pavel. Well, let's see. Watch Nicholas Morty. Something era was the high water mark for me. Hey, Uzi did provide some grade A lately, though. Oh, you enjoyed the Watch Nicholas Morty combination. Okay. GD, he's not a Morty fan, it seems like, but you're always super chatting him. Hey, Uzi alone is worth more entertainment-wise than Morty. JB is looking in. Now, that's a good description, Rufus. That is a very good description. Uzi, agent of chaos. I'll have to get a clip on that. Rufus says hello to JB. Let's see. Well, funny you should say that. Chili Badger, I like Mr. Knapp. He's not as gullible as quite a few others are, like Jeremy Corbell. He's just a bearded nodding dog. Well, not only that, he's got a funny... Well, those clips I took, he was talking to Jerry Corbell. But what Jerry Corbell would ask him a question. George Knapp would give an answer that all of us could understand. And then Jeremy Corbell had to rephrase it just so he could understand it. And he repeated everything that George Knapp said. It was very... I mean, George Knapp must have been going, holy shit, you know. You know, he didn't have to do that, but I got an MP3 slicer so I could cut him out. Because he didn't really add anything to it. I want it from George Knapp, not Jeremy Corbell. I respect the guy. You know, he was sitting at the hearing. And he's got a YouTube channel. He's got an X account. Hardly, Pavel. I wonder if interest in the UFO phenomenon is like a boomerang. I was interested in it in my teens. I threw a boomerang when I was younger. It was kind of fun. Maybe it will swing back at 70-something. Again, the only time the government will confirm this is when they have to. And we may be at that point, because if that 3-eye atlas, if that's controlled somehow, I won't even say it's a spacecraft, but if it's controlled somehow, whatever it is, and it stops behind the sun, there's the moment. Now is the time to tell us. If it doesn't come out, if it doesn't come shooting out on the other side, what explanation are they going to offer? Oh, well, yeah, we know it's over 20 kilometers in diameter, but it blew up or it changed course. What? You said it was a comet. Comets don't change course. What are you talking about? Rufus, Robert Bigelow, he knows where the bodies are buried. Oh, in Daytona? Oh, where did I get California? Wright Patterson? Oh, thank you for that correction. Greene County, Ohio. Thank you so much. Rufus. Well, there's been, you know, Howard Hughes bought one of them at one time. I don't know. Mark T. DOXX, is it true that many of the Las Vegas casinos don't own the land on top of the strip, own the land on the strip that they are on, owned by BlackRock and other mega investors instead? Well, never entered my mind, never thought about it. They have different, you could find out very easily by looking up the major hotels, because they consolidated. They're under one, not all of them, but, you know, there's the MGM Corporation, and then there's the one that Steve Wynn had, and he sold out. But they, like a company, a corporation will like run 3 or 4 of them. You can just go through the annual report and just put in, do a property search. They probably own the property, I would think. Rufus is laughing. Ross Pro. Listen, that's the conversation. You heard it. You heard George Knapp say it, not me. Your clip volume is very high versus your mic for your information. I know, but I turned it down somewhat because I want to be nice and clear. At least you can hear it. Old-timey wristwatch check for DOXX Report. I got my Timex on. I really like this thing. White dial. It's not the Weekender. It's the Indiglo. What do they call it? My eyes are screwed. I get cataract. I gotta call the doctor, find out who he recommends, and I gotta get this done. The problem is once I start it, I finish it. So it's like I don't want to make the call. I'd really like to do it in 2026. Water resistance 30 meters. Timex, and it has the numbers written out. And it has the flexing metal wristband. It's pretty accurate, really. Well, this one, okay, it's about 15 seconds slow, but, you know, it's a $100 watch, but it's a digital. I just pulled the trigger on it. Well, Rufus, really? Are you going to do an unboxing? Are you going to go? What show are you going to go on? Oh, don't spill now, Rufus. You gotta do an unboxing. Chili Badger wants to know now. There's the name Dr. James Lakatsky. Those who want to research it themselves. Citizen Susoa, something small seconds, black with strap. A black dial? Let's look that up. Citizen. $37 milliliter, or excuse me, 37 millimeter. A blue dial, you say 37 black dial, stainless steel. Is it called the time slip? Or the hands colored? That's a $500 watch, that one. Citizen watch. Joma shop, you can get one for $237. Blue dial. 37 millimeter black dial. Oop, don't want that. Oh, this is an automatic. You bought an automatic watch. So when you say Citizens, I immediately think of digital, but that's an automatic, right? Uh-oh. We got a celebrity here, Curly Cush. Good afternoon, old man. Chad, I have voted. He has upvoted. DOXX, have you missed the Timmy Tin Cup breaking? I guess I must have. Do I have to go to the, you got two channels now. The, I'm drawing a blank, but the sit-down room, let me go over to your channel. The Franchise Club, couldn't think of it. There's the Franchise Club now and the sit-down lounge. Where can I find this breaking news? All right, I guess I go to the Tim Wright channel. Tell me he was arrested. Well, I guess it depends who your source is now. I don't know. I don't know what the breaking news is. Rufus, I'm done with tying up money on lecture items. Good for you. Chili Badger congratulates Rufus. Rufus says, Curly, do tell. Thanks, Chili. Oh, boy. Curly says, I don't do shit for free anymore. And everybody needs to put the work in, says Curly Cush. Well, I'll look if I can find it. Again, if it wasn't George Knapp, I wouldn't have. But you heard him. That surprised me too. He didn't put it in the congressional testimony, thank goodness. Chili Badger Ross Perot comment makes it more interesting. I can imagine the alien like where he traveled looking for a dino. I think it was a biologic. You know, I think they're bred just to pilot these things. Oh, he's doing a pivot? Curly Kush. Timmy about to make another grifter comeback. Stay tuned. But he's got the same business model. He's got the, well, you're going to maybe spruce it up a little bit, but we know what he's up to.
We like to call it here, keeping the grift alive and help fuel the grift jar.
Now, you sure it's breaking news or something else?
I can't even control what I do on my own show sometimes. I get high and I do stupid things.
Ah, stupid things. Well, we'll see. Oh, I know what he's going to do. I can already tell you what he's going to do. You know, the most successful channel out there as far as views go is what? Something hit the house. Men in Black. Something hit the house. Anyway, I know what he's going to do. The most successful channel is Wrist and Red. Is it going to be him and his wife? That's the move. That's the move, or him and another woman. But I don't know, maybe the wife's not going to talk watches. The roommate. Timmy and the roommate. That's the winner. Or get a girl on the show. Rufus, well, excuse me, Curly. I assume by putting it in the chat that you had something for us. Curly says, relax. Rufus, stay tuned. Because that gets a lot of viewers. I am talking about Red, Wrist, and Red. When Timmy saw that, he must have got pissed off. Listen to these numbers. 1,200 views the first day, 7,000 views on the 8th day, 4,400 on 2 weeks ago. Now, when he's by himself or with tickers, it's 675. So, and Timmy's watching him very closely. I'll bet that's what he's doing. Get a female on there with him. Nielsen's have DOXX over retard island. Nielsen's have DOXX over retard island. Yes, well, it's funny. It's mean, but it's funny. Full retard. Let's see. Oh, that's not going to work. If he goes camping, no. I think he's got to get a woman over there. Timmy, expert on aimless day hikes and overnight. Watch expert sensation. Who's his mentor? That's O'Sheen. So O'Sheen uses girls all the time, on the channel. I'm referring to the channel. Rufus, Nikki almost had me thinking he wasn't, but then it all went tits up. Let's see, Uncle pivoted from angling expert to grifting off obsessing an alcoholic Irishman. Well, he is one-sided. It is O'Sheen content all the way through. Anything is possible in this space, according to Pavel. Diners, grill, deli, wars, and deli wars. Curly Kush, diners, grills, and deli wars, or the fishbowl or dinner theaters, grills, deli wars. The fishbowl is flush with originality. It just twists on everything. It's just talk. Got to have content. It's hard to do content. Really? Okay. All right. Let's look at yesterday's close, S&P 500. And then we'll get to the live. Yesterday it closed, and the S&P 500 is up 12.46% now. And before I open it, before I look at the S&P 500, if they're expecting one number and it's not that number, then it's going to go down, right? Even though they cut. So let's take a look. Well, it's down 12 points, S&P 500. The Fed cuts rates by quarter point and signals more are likely. Okay, so it just took the news like they planned it in. That's probably the reason we're up 12.5%. I'm guessing. I never read the headlines when I look at that. I never read the headlines. Oh, beautiful lighting. Let's see. Do you miss working? Man, I'm way behind. Here we go. Mark Timmy, expert on aimless day hikes and overnight watch expert sensation, grift pivot. What, he's going to go total retard? Nick almost had me thinking he wasn't, but oh, I already read that. Okay, I read that one. Okay, I got the rate cut. Do you miss working? Do I miss working? I've adjusted well. Not really. Once it happened, it was unexpected. I kind of panicked at the beginning, but now it's like I can't. You offer me the job back? No, I wouldn't go back. Would not. No, this is too good. Let your money work for you. You know, watch your money go up, and I don't need anything. I have, you know, anything goes wrong with the house, I can have it fixed. Why work? I've always done the fitness thing. I have a fitness lifestyle. So that kept it on. And I got a new hobby. I got YouTube. And I got the yard work to do. No, I wouldn't. Do I miss working? No. No. I was going to say I miss a paycheck, but not anymore because you get, the market goes up. No complaints. Okay, all right, Curly, we'll just let people read your comments. I won't take them down. To dress my age? That's hard to do. That's hard to do. I'm making a concerted effort to dress my age these days. I still love my Vans, though. To me, when I'm a senior, and my thing is it's all comfort. And it's so damn hot out there. I wear shorts, you know, that's it. And a cotton T-shirt or something. That's my thing. Let's see. They gave the treatment to Dirk. Now, they could be either, now this is Curly Kush, they could be either Watch Nicholas or Timmy. No, they probably watch Nicholas. He spends a lot of time over there. Rufus says 40 millimeter is his new watch. Really? Okay. Well, if you send me the specs, I'll be able to make I can find an image for them. I mean, at a future show, I can put it up there for you if you want. Dirk doesn't take anything personally on these streams. Oh, thank you. Tap on the shoulder. Afternoon, good evening. Tuning in late, or have I missed? A little. We've been on for an hour, 40 minutes. I guess I'll have to go back and catch up later, DOXX. Good afternoon. Well, thank you. Good afternoon to you. Oh, he would dream. I don't know if Timmy can work for anyone. He can't hold a job. Watch Nicholas can't hold a job. Timmy can't hold a job. And they're both trust fund kids with issues. Timmy's newest watch salesman for Time and Tide, $200,000 per year. No, it's not going to happen. Is Dirk really a story, though? In any manner? Floodland Dirk claims to hate Watch Nicholas every 1.5 years. The what? JB. Also, the wet open simp snitch channel. Amazing. I was looking one for earlier. There is a trust fund song out there. And I thought, man, if I could just grab the lyrics for that. But, because, you know, you got Timmy and you got Watch Nicholas. DOXX, we have a great trust fund song for you. Consider it a gift of appreciation. Are you going to mail it to me? DOXX Report at outlook.com. Unless I get a strike because of it. Got to be careful with the music. Oh, is that would... But see, that's... He's talked about that. He's not employable. I applaud him if he's really going to do that. Stay off the weed for a month and a half or 2 months. Get it out of your system, because some employers do drug testing and staying sober and get on to work on time. Can he do that? I don't know if he's learned the discipline. You know, the best thing that ever happened to me, the first job I ever had was at a car wash. And it doesn't matter if I deserved it or not. He did me a favor. The manager, he fired me. And from that point on, I was scared of getting fired to every job I went to. That's the best thing that could ever happen to me. Because you're a better employee if you're scared. True story. 16 years old. I'll never forget his words. He says, he took my time card. Well, I can't get you off your ass, so I'm going to have to let you go. And he punched me out on the clock. You know, you're fired. In reality, the guy I was replacing for 2 weeks is coming back. But I worked my ass off. You had to jump in the cars, wash the windows with ammonia. And I'm quite tall, even back then, and the big Cadillac comes in, and it's got an electric seat, and I had to motor it back so I could get to the window. And this little old guy starts chewing my ass out because I moved his seat. Well, how am I going to wash the window? And then between cars, you had to wash the towels. You had to throw them in a washer. You had to do all that, and while the cars are moving, you know, once you get one pulled out, you got to run back. And I'm 16 years old. I really don't know how to shift, and then I got to run back and get the next one. And then while it's still moving, and jump in it and clean the inside front window, and then the next, over and over and over. Oh my God! Men in beige, more like it. There's that 60. I don't know what that means exactly. Jesus, when you adapt other narratives at 60 years, 60, F me dead, times are tough. Any new character sees the influence, not so independent are you? The cuck J breezy guy, he can't get none at home. Snort, curly cush. Oh, now he's going after JB and Curly are going after it. I got to leave these up here because people like just to read the comments. Okay. Now that's funny. I did have some bib overalls at one time when I was a custodian, but they weren't farmer overalls. They were, I can't remember. I did have some overalls and a shirt, and I rolled my sleeves up. I did have a bib, but it wasn't a farmer one. I'm trying to think, what was the color of it? I can't think of it now. DOXX wears bib overalls when he goes to Cracker Barrel. I stopped going to Cracker Barrel. It's a nice in there, but the seats are so freaking hard. I go to Billy's Cafe. Oh, thank you, JB. DOXX, hope all is well. Everything's good. The hernia has healed up, but I wouldn't call it discomfort, but once in a while you feel something. You have a sensation, but it's nothing protrudes, so that's good. Next, I got to do the cataract. Pasta, you're gonna waste your money on that? AD called me yesterday. Rolex Air King came in, the 77750. Let's be precise, the 7750.00. JB, I love how DOXX is like 10 minutes behind all the time. Whiskey a go-go. No whiskey today. Mark T. Timmy is delusional. Pavel puts his marker in. Mark T. I know what working at a car wash is like. Teenage job. I was 16. It was my first job. And then the guy fired me. But that was the best thing he could have done for me, because that motivated me from that point on. I needed motivation. JB, Pasta, have you tried it on yet? It's a great watch. And yeah, I've had one. Look at that. I'm all caught up. See? All caught up. Check the market again. And, oh, now it's flat. It's 0.60 down. That's just flat. But again, it's already ran up. So the market already priced it in. It's up 12.5%. The S&P from the date that what date did I put that in? January 6th, it was 58.82. So today, it's up 12, rounded off, 12.5%. One more time for Chili Badger. Hang on, George Knapp, where are you? Come in, George Knapp. Let's see, MP3, Paper Trail. Mr. Knapp. Now, this is not, no, this was actually in front of Congress, I believe.
Mr. Knapp?
That's not the one I want. Which one do I want? Okay, he mentions this guy's name, so I got to put this up here. This is Nathan Twining.
Mr. Knapp?
As I mentioned at the beginning of my remarks, what hooked me on the story was the paper trail. These documents shouldn't exist. We've been told for decades, over and over, there's nothing to it. It's not a threat. You can go about your business. And then when FOIA becomes the law of the land, thousands of pages to the contrary leak out. There's a memo by General Nathan Twining in 1947 when the country was being overflown by dozens of UFOs, hundreds of UFOs, in which he said, look, this is not visionary or fictitious. It's real. These things are craft. They're not ours. They outperform anything we've got. I mean, if you follow the paper trail of documents that they wrote before the military got wise and realized that FOIA really exists and changed their tune and not put things in writing, it spells it out pretty clearly.
One more. Splitting hairs.
Mr. Knapp, you're getting edgy.
It's splitting hairs. No proof that they're extraterrestrials. What would that proof look like? A piece of kryptonite? What would it be? I mean, we could be talking about different forms of non-human intelligence. I think the dominant paradigm is that they...
Let me stop right there. Doesn't that look exactly the same as in Brazil?
Come from outer space somewhere else, and they have some way that they can cross those vast distances that we can't even imagine doing. But not necessarily, that's not necessarily the answer. So asking for proof of extraterrestrials might not be the answer at all. It's splitting hairs. We don't know where they're from. I don't know anyone who knows the answer for sure. They call them aliens just as a placekeeper kind of a word, but no one in all these programs who've studied this stuff for years, people with much bigger brains than mine, knows the answer for sure.
I've talked to Navy folks that some of the deep sea areas, they think there might be something there that they're here, and I don't know when they got here.
Well, that's not what I wanted. This is the Calvin UAP. That's the clearest photograph ever. And that looks exactly like the one in Brazil, does it not? Let's go back to that Brazil. Anyway, public service announcements. Prepare yourself for the confirmation, the confirm, when NASA confirms, when the president goes before the American public and confirms the existence of UFO aliens. I don't want to put that up there. We don't do Watch Talk over here. I mean, you want to show your watch off, you can do that. Norm Macdonald. I never really thought Norm Macdonald was that funny. He's beloved. He's a beloved comedian to a lot of people, but I just thought he was, I don't know. Worst job description, assistant crack whore. Norm Macdonald, ladies and gentlemen. Curly Kush tracking the viewers. DOXX, 3 more than JBZ segment on the Noodles channel. Noodle is milking his pay pigs. Noodle brings the best out of his broken souls. Jeez. Have a great afternoon, old man. Hey, you're right behind me. You're over 50. We'll see what you look like at 71. The trust fund song is created by TSDL. No copyright issues. Have a great afternoon. Well, thank you. Let me check my email. Docs, don't use the fast smell. Let's see. Outlook, DOXX Report at Outlook.com. And George Knapp, if you're listening, you're welcome on this show. Tap of the shoulder. Curly, you have a good day, says tap on the shoulder. Looking forward to the Timmy update. Well, he's doing a pivot. He's not making the money he once did. Old-timey, Mr. MacDonald, that's my dog's name. Oh, geez, we did 1 hour and 52 minutes. Goodness. Timmy, breaking news. What could it be? Let's see. Well, the only reason I have 20 is because Watch Nicholas is not streaming. Pasta. Can you imagine? I was always nervous when I owned a Rolex because I think, what if I hit this on a door? And I'm clumsy, you know. I've broken dials before, hitting a door jamb. I swing my arms when I walk. Pasta, I might pass on it for now. My AD is a friend. He said I can always get another one and just let me know. I call him later today. Well, when they're calling you to sell watches, what does that tell you about the watch market? If you're going to keep it and enjoy it, then go ahead and buy it. But if you're thinking about retaining value, don't bother because you're already thinking about selling it. JB, I don't want to say that. Carrie, I'm trying to get a clip of Carrie, but every time she goes on a channel, I get other people. She does have a channel. I've subscribed, so when she starts running her mouth, I can maybe get a clip. I mean, why even let her on? Why make her a story? She has a channel. Let her go do her thing on the channel. 96 degrees. Oh my God! In the that's what my thermometer says outdoor. It says 87 degrees Fahrenheit today. Right now, 31 degrees Celsius. Ooh. The humidity's down, 53%. Well, at least that's good. All right, 1 hour, 55 minutes. We got 5 minutes to go. 2 hour show. Pasta, you or me, trying to type and work at the same time, laughing. It's not working. Well, I know, but I could catch her live. See, JBGB. She deletes everything, DOXX, just like Curly, outside of his normal content. Well, I subscribe to the channel, so if she goes live, I'll at least be able to do it. See what all the content. I've never listened to her on anything. All right, have I covered everything? That's in my X account. Let me check my media. GD. The content she does on her own channel is very controversial, to put it mildly. I'd love to get a clip. Doesn't mean I'll play it, but I could put it up on X. Thus, the reason she deletes all of her streams as soon as they're over. But I can grab it while she's live. I'm the DOXX Report. I have capabilities that maybe others don't have. Software or whatever. You know, somebody's very disappointed. Daphne's disappointed because she kind of gave up on Mookie. She's got a new guy she's interested in. I think it's Dirk, but I won't know unless Dirk stops by. But Daphne, what do you got to say to Dirk, Daphne?
Hello, doll.
Ooh, sorry, Mookie, you had your chance.
Almuamua.
Amuamua.
Almuamua.
Amuamua.
Almuamua.
Amuamua. OC, the original OC.
There are winners and there are losers. That's what it's about, fuckers.
There's OC. GD, she's behaving quite well on Curl's stream. She got the tap on the shoulder. All right. 2 minutes. Moneymaker.
Hello, doll.